We are on a tour around this country about public education. President Obama met with Newt Gingrich and Secretary Duncan and I in May. And we told him we would go around the country to learn and see how we could make public schools better. Greg Calhoun said to me, you have to come to Macon County. Why? Because it was in this county when blacks were just slaves, when it was against the law for us to read and write, when it was against the law for whites to teach us how to read and write, that the pursuit of education started and was institutionalized with Tuskegee Institute right here in Tuskegee, Alabama. Here we are in 2009, and they're cutting budgets. Many of us don't want to do nothing, don't want to be nothing. And we are walking the same ground that Booker T. Washington and George Washington Carver walked, with nothing on our minds and not trying to aspire to do anything. I thought it was great what Judge Hackett just did, because the man leaned over to me and said, she's right, we've stopped dreaming. And let me tell you something, you cannot arrive unless you have a destination. If you don't know where you're going, you'll never get there. You've got to decide young where you want to go, and you've got to be determined to get there. And don't let anybody tell you what you can't be. You have to decide what you must be and be determined to do that. Now, I'm not just telling you that from some goody-goody two-shoes. I grew up in the hood, projects. Daddy left. I didn't see my father for 21 years and wasn't too happy to see him then. On welfare, all of that. But I didn't let the world tell me what I was going to be. I decided I was going to tell the world what I was going to be. I remember when I was growing up in Brooklyn on welfare, back in those days, we weren't allowed to go to our own dentist. You had to go down to the welfare office and sit out among 100 or so people, and they'd call your name, and you'd go into the dentist. So we would sit there, and I was always scared that somebody that went to my church worked there, or somebody that was a mother, father, some girl I wanted to talk to worked there, and they'd hear my name. And I'd be nervous. Finally, they'd come out and yell, Sharpton, and I would close my ears and yell, trying to get them to shut up, because I didn't want anybody to know I was on welfare. I remember one day I was about 11 years old, and when I came out, I told my mother, one day I'm going to make them call my name somewhere other than a welfare office. And I kept on studying and believing in myself, and lived to see the day that I sat up near the Oval Office in the White House, and the guard walked out and said, Sharpton, the President of the United States will see you now. Where they're going to call your name, and you don't let anybody tell you where your name got to be called. In 2004, I ran for president. I remember Judge Hackett like it was yesterday. We had a debate one night in Detroit, Michigan. Governor Dean was running, and Senator Kerry, and Senator Edwards, and all of us was up there debating. At the end of the night, a reporter came over to me and said, Reverend Al, you did pretty good. I said, thank you. He said, I think you won the debate. I said, thank you. He said, you should be proud to be standing up there debating senators and governors. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, all of them have great educations and come from great families with great histories, and you don't have that background, and you held your own. You ought to be proud to be on the stage with them. I said, no, they ought to be proud to be up there with me. He said, well, what do you mean by that? I said, well, they were born on third base and think they hit a triple. I wasn't even born in the stadium. and we standing at the same place, then I must be better than them and stronger than them because I took what they didn't have to take. If they had to go through what I went through, they might not have made it. What am I saying? Don't worry about what you didn't have on your side. Be on your own side. I don't care if the whole world is on your side. If you're not on your side, you ain't going nowhere. But I'll tell you the reverse is true. If the whole world is against you, if you're on your own side, you can make it anyhow. If the teachers, the principal, and others are with you, good. But if they're not, stand up and be something anyhow.